It started with the walls. When Emma and her fiancé, James, moved into their new home, they thought they found the perfect place. A Victorian house, tucked away at the edge of a quiet town, far from the noise and bustle of city life. The price was a steal. Too good to be true? Of course. But they were young and full of dreams. How could they resist? The house looked perfect. But as they unpacked their things, Emma couldn't shake a feeling she couldn't quite describe. It wasn't the house itself, no, the house was beautiful, with grand windows and ornate woodwork. But the walls. The walls felt alive. Like they were watching her. Whispering. She'd walk from room to room, always hearing a soft murmur, like a conversation just out of earshot. At first, she thought it was the house settling, the wind sneaking through the cracks in the windows. But no matter how she tried to ignore it, the whispers grew louder until one night, they weren't whispers at all. It was 3 a.m. James had fallen asleep on the couch, exhausted from the long day of moving. Emma was alone, sitting at the kitchen table, trying to get some work done. The whispers came again, only this time, they were clearer. "Help! Help us!" Her hand trembled as she set down her pen. The air grew cold, as if the temperature dropped 10 degrees in an instant. Emma's heart raced. She glanced toward the hallway, her eyes drawn to the dark, narrow passage leading to the cellar. The whispers were coming from down there. She told herself it was her imagination. There was no way someone could be down there. No one lived near them for miles. But curiosity, or maybe fear, pulled her toward the cellar door. Slowly, she crept down the hallway, each step heavier than the last. As she reached the door, she felt her breath catch in her throat. The whispers stopped. The silence was suffocating. She opened the door. It creaked like the bones of an old man in pain, protesting every inch. She stepped inside the dimly lit room, the faint smell of mildew in the air. The cellar was empty, no people, no animals, nothing at all. Just dusty boxes, forgotten old furniture, and shadows that seemed to stretch unnaturally. But then, she saw it. On the far wall, just above the old furnace, a dark stain. It looked like a shadow, but it was moving. As she stared, the shadow seemed to shift, growing bigger. And then it began to crawl towards her. He backed away, but the shadow followed, sliding along the wall like something alive, something hungry. The temperature dropped even further, and Emma's breath turned to mist. Her heart was pounding so loud she thought it might burst from her chest. "Help us!" The voices were clearer now, from inside the walls. She ran. Out of the cellar. Out of the house. But the voices followed her, echoing in her ears, growing louder with every step. As she burst out the front door and into the yard, she looked back. And there, in the upstairs window, she saw them. Faces. Pressed against the glass. Pale. Eyes wide open. Mouths moving, but no sound. "Help us, Emma, come back." She never returned. The house is still there. Waiting. Calling to anyone who dares to listen. The whispers have only grown stronger. And now, they are the ones who need help. Some say the house will always be there, because it feeds on the ones who come too close. It needs them. It needs you. So, if you ever find yourself alone in the dark, somewhere, far away from the world, listen closely. You may hear the whispers, too.